to Anna Beecher.
Time step. Grandma. Her green wreathed bowls, carrots resting in rounds and rows of curls, her button blouse of plastic pearls, the way she would incline her head to suggest an egg, when I, the small pyjamaed guest, appeared on the steps, wore roots through my brain. Like the paths through trampled grass, her routines faded the flowers beneath her feet, and her way of always doing things the same smoothed my memories, left them gilded and round as glacier cherries. But the shoes, black with ankle straps and taps beneath the toes, appeared just once, and juts jagged, a shard of shell in the teeth. The day we put away our plates and performed for the melted face of Tutankhamun, singed into the trouser press. She chalked a circle on the tiles, stepped in, and tapped neat beats, teaspoon on eggshell, firm and light. When my turn came, I couldn't get it right. I had no grace. She smoothed the disappointment from her face and put the shoes away. Years later, I yearned to tell her I had learned. I like egg, cheese and butter. I like egg, cheese and butter. I like egg, cheese and butter. Things on toast and lemonade. The singing syllables of the compound time step. Thank you. I've never done that and actually done the steps before, but I didn't die, so. I'm going to do a poem called Afterlife. You're back to me at the bar. I slip into a drugged, new loved smile and wonder if a little pain is draining off, like the draining of lungs through a young plastic punctured chest. Here, in my best effort dress, poison spills from my pockets, and I wonder why I brought the malignant mass that leaks black blood through the bottom of my bag, and yet, happiness, ice in the glass, and you, new face, new brain, turning to return with drinks, and my sequestered objects, pictures, glowing all about me as you put our glasses down. I'm going to do a poem called Love in Brixton at 4 a.m. Give it to me like it's cheap. Chicken shop chips when you're drunk enough to kiss in broad strip light. Mouthful, you tilt the box, go on. I take the longest one furthest from the meat, and we eat. Give it to me like it's cheap. You carry it like a kid. A cup clutched with both hands, because you already dropped it once, and re-glued the shards. Baby, give it to me like it isn't hard. You let me touch it, but not take it. As if in the split semi-second between our fingers, it could shatter. Just give it to me like it doesn't matter. A chicken fat Kiss on the bus in the small hours. Give it to me like it's small. I give it to you all the time. And it's nothing at all. Can I do 2 more? Should I just do 1?
2 more.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Looking to Poetry Man for the... Okay, 2 more. I'm going to do a poem called Hands. Embarrassed at his fingernails, trying to pick the milk off hands that gathered eggs, to wrap instead around her small palms, smile floating shyly above the handshake. Later, hands shaking and the kiss, she wipes a crumb from his lips, fingers tracing thighs beneath her starched skirt, and the smell of her hands on him, like the sheets they folded, fresh. She ran a digit from his forehead to his nose, gently removed a fly from his eyeball, and they slid rings down the barrels of each other's fingers, him still with mud along the creases. Lines deepening as palms are moulded around the soft backs of babies' heads. Once, as 5 fingers folded around his one, he glimpsed his own father's hands, disappearing into gloves. The slap, which happened once and stopped time, when the children were in bed, remembered in red in the fingers bitten back, running through the hair, no longer tracing each other in wonder. Wrinkled hands ceased to interlace, wrapping themselves instead around coffee cups for warmth, wool spooling around her thin fingers, illuminated and old under the lamp, skin shrinking from the bones on the backs of her hands. By the time his hand found hers again, there was a cannula at the elbow crease, and her pulse was frantic, fragile as those first fumblings. In the absence of her voice, her hand replied, like the baby taking his finger, a little scrap of life, squeezing away doubt. And now, as he reaches into the urn to take her out in handfuls, dust settles in the space between the skin and the worn band of the ring. Okay, I'll do my theme tune now. This is the poem I always end up doing. It's called The Beekeeper's Funeral, and this will be my last one. We all ate sweet honey cake at the beekeeper's wake, mainly for his wife's sake. I gave her hand a little squeeze as she smoothed her skirt over her knees and asked if she had told the bees. Of course I've told the bees, she said. I've told them very clearly. That's to say they've been informed. Nearly. I said that George had passed on, was done dancing and had got his wings. You see, bees can be very sensitive things. By the time we returned to the house, the air was thick, buzzing yellow and black. The bees had got it wrong, you see. They thought that he was coming back. When his wife had used the words resting, testing his new narrow bed, they hadn't understood a word she'd said. And when the beekeeper didn't return, the bees began to burn with anger. Yellow and black, we want him back, they howled as they growled en masse towards the house. The funeral party stopped and stood back and gazed at the cloud of yellow and black. Yellow and black, yellow and black. The whole house had succumbed to attack. The wood in the windows started to crack as the bees squeezed themselves in through knocks and gaps under doors. It didn't look much like a house anymore. The beekeeper's wife held tight to her hat, gazed at the cloud of yellow and black and said, "Oh, there's a rule that's very old. If a beekeeper dies, the bees must be told." I thought I'd told them, softly, sweetly, but I should have said it straight and completely. I forgot to knock 3 times on the wood, even though I knew I should. I could have taken the cake from the wake and placed it on the hive, but George always dealt with the bees when he was alive. Yellow and black, the whole house hundreds come to attack. Yellow and black, she shouts at the bees, "Give my house back!" But the house is gone, devoured, destroyed. It would seem that the bees were rather annoyed. As the swarm disperses and goes, where once stood a house hangs a yellow-black glow. No one likes telling the little ones, but the little ones always know.
That last poem has to be a film eventually, doesn't it? Yeah. More applause for Anna Beecher. Thank you very much.